Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on something that's quietly running in the background of our lives: AI in marketing. Now, this isn't some sci fi far off idea. It's a powerful engine that is, right now, changing how companies connect with you. And we get to tell this story because of a massive study that did an archaeological dig, really, through almost 40 years of research. Let's dive in. It's funny. The most powerful technologies are the ones we just don't even see. And AI is the perfect example of this. It's quietly woven itself into our day-to-day, acting like this invisible hand guiding so many of our choices and interactions online. And sometimes not even online. Think about it. That spam filter that keeps your inbox looking clean, that's AI working for you. When you ask Siri for the weather or tell Bixby to set a reminder, yep, you're having a conversation with an AI. And for a lot of new cars, those systems that help you stay in your lane or brake automatically in an emergency, that's all powered by the same basic tech. So to really get what's going on under the hood, researchers went on this incredible deep dive. They sifted through more than 1,500 academic papers, going all the way back to 1982. This gives us this amazing bird's eye view of how this whole field has grown up. Okay, so it's a term that gets thrown around all the time, right? And it usually makes us think of robots and movies. But to really get its role in marketing, we need to know what we're actually talking about. So what is artificial intelligence, really? So let's get into it. To see how AI is really shaking up marketing, we first have to understand, well, how do these things actually learn? At its heart, AI isn't about building a conscious robot. It's about making a machine that can look at its environment and then take action to hit a specific goal. So think of it less like trying to build a person and more like simulating a very specific human skill, like learning from mistakes or solving a puzzle. To get how this works, think of artificial intelligence as the whole car. The real magic, though, is the engine inside. That's machine learning and deep learning. These are the powerful tools that let the machine actually learn from tons of data without a person having to write out every single rule by hand. And a lot of the time, this uses something called a neural network, which is kind of inspired by our own brains. It all starts with an input, let's say your customer profile. That info then flows through these hidden layers of digital neurons that work together to spot patterns. And then, bam, the output layer gives you a result, a prediction about what product you're most likely to buy next. So we've got this powerful brain-like technology. Now for the real question, how are companies actually using it out in the wild? Let's take a look at AI's marketing playbook. The research shows that AI is really touching every single part of marketing. It's being used for high-level strategy to figure out who to target, and it's being used in product design by instantly analyzing customer feedback. It's even changing prices on the fly with algorithms and optimizing how things get to you. Think delivery drones, all while personalizing the exact ads you see online. Okay, so that's the playbook for businesses. But what about the academics, the scientists? What are they focused on? Where is the real cutting edge of all this? Let's dig into the research itself. This is where that massive analysis we talked about gets really interesting. By looking at which papers were cited together the most, the researchers were able to map out the main conversations that have been shaping this field for decades. And it turns out, a lot of this thinking is happening in a few key places. The journal Expert Systems with Applications is by far the biggest hub for this conversation. And I mean, the name itself tells you a lot. The focus has always been on the practical, technical side of how to apply these systems. So the whole analysis boiled down to 5 big themes driving the research. Things like, how can AI build trust? How does it create customer value? But these last 2 clusters, that's where things get really fascinating. The pure application of data science and analyzing what people are saying online, that's where a ton of the recent energy is going. And that's the key takeaway here. The focus of the research has totally shifted. It started with these basic foundational ideas. Then it moved on to exploring different ways to use it. But just in the last few years, the whole conversation has exploded around those super powerful data-hungry technologies we talked about. Big data, neural networks, and sentiment analysis, which is basically the science of understanding emotion in text. Which brings us to the last and maybe the most interesting question of all. We've seen where AI in marketing has been. So what does the research tell us about where it's going next? This quote from the paper, it's just so revealing. The next big step isn't just about making AI faster or letting it crunch more data. It's about making it smarter in a much more human way, by actually building in principles from psychology to better understand why we make the choices we do. But, getting there is not going to be easy. These are the big hurdles researchers are trying to jump right now. How do you teach a machine sarcasm, where someone saying, "I love this product," actually means the exact opposite? How does it get better at languages with really complex grammar? The big goal here is to create a more nuanced AI that blends all this new tech with timeless ideas about human behavior. And all of this leaves us with one last really big thought. We've watched AI go from being a simple tool to a system that can analyze our feelings and predict our next move. So, as this unseen engine gets even better at understanding us, it makes you ask, in this relationship between us and the marketer, who's really in control?